Crispy duck leg? That sounds good, doesn't it? Now with this weather outside, I have a great recipe. And the best part is, it's super easy and requires little work. Welcome to Color Cooks. Lights, camera, action. Our ingredients include a delicious, juicy duck leg for everyone, and we start with a little onion and a good sour apple. In this case, it's a L star. Later we want to make a sauce, and for that I have a duck stock here. Duck stock or duck juice can be made at home. How that works, there is a nice example here using a goose sauce. You definitely have to check it out. And for those who don't have time, you can also buy such a stock. Other ingredients: dried plums, a bit of gingerbread spice, salt and pepper, and as mentioned, the stock. We start with the duck legs. They need to be seasoned. We season each duck leg individually. The great advantage of this is that we can't over-season, and we do this on both sides. Then we come over, baby. I already have 2 pots ready. This is the milk pot from Hoffman. And here we have the ER cooking pot. And now we simply put our duck legs in there. So, that's the whole secret. And they will now be pre-cooked. However, not with water, but with the best duck or goose fat. I always have some at home because we process a lot of geese and ducks. This duck or goose fat can also be purchased. You will always have enough at home. The only mistake that can be seen here is that these 2 legs are a bit dry. That's why we're going to get a little water. The water will evaporate again. It will help us to cook these duck legs nicely and slowly. Look, they are completely covered like this. We will bring this to a boil, and then for about 1 hour, we will do the fork test later. And just bring it to a boil, and then simply reduce the temperature from maximum to about 2-3, in my case, 7th. And then we let it simmer for 1 hour. After about 30 minutes of cooking time, we add our apples and onions and let them cook together, so that the duck also absorbs the right flavor. And of course you want a crispy duck leg. It won't be crispy yet, but it will go into the oven. Then it will become crispy. It smells incredibly delicious. Now we want to take a look at the duck legs. 2001. So the first thing we see is that the meat has come away from the bone a bit, which is the first indication that it must be done. So they are now being placed in the oven in the Hoffman high-sided pan. And this is the second indication here. When they slide down like a boiled potato, then they are done. And you can already see everything can be wonderfully prepared. And the pre-cooked duck leg can be done 1 to 2 days in advance. And when your guests arrive, you take your pan and place it in the oven. I have currently set it to 200 degrees now because the duck leg is hot. If you have a cold duck leg from the day before, you need to set the oven to 100 degrees first and let the duck warm up for half an hour to get hot. And then at the last moment, like now, turn it up to 200 degrees. The huge advantage of these pans is that you can remove the handle, close the lid. We are just waiting for the duck leg to become really crispy. And in the meantime, we will prepare the sauce. And this is all our duck fat. Either you use it for your second batch of duck legs next time for Christmas, or you fry your next fried potatoes in it, which is very, very delicious. And we are now taking about 2 to 3 teaspoons of our duck fat for our sauce. And in there we will now prepare the sauce by just finely chopping an onion. And we can let these onion cubes melt at low temperature. And we want to make a plum sauce. For that, I will chop the dried and pitted plums. Please buy pitted plums because the plums will give us an incredibly mild, sweet flavor in the sauce later. Perfectly complements the duck. Our onions need to be lightly seasoned with pepper and a little salt. And now we add our sliced plums on top and saute them briefly. Anyone who looks closely can see that our onions are getting a slight color. They are just practically sautéed a little bit in this duck fat, if you will. And at the same time, the sugar from the plums helps as well. We need to be careful that the onions do not get too dark, but a little color, a little caramel is very good for this sauce. Those who like and are allowed can season at this point with a plum liqueur or with a brandy. We are cooking this today without alcohol at the request of a specific camera woman. Sorry, Carmen, maybe you should have a shot. So, that looks good. And we are now adding our duck stock and letting it reduce a little bit here. And always keep an eye on our duck legs in the oven, making sure they definitely do not get too dark. The sauce looks good already and tastes good too. The only thing is, it is definitely too thin. That's why we will thicken it a bit with cornstarch. Be careful, don't add too much at once, work in slowly. Keep saying this because if the sauce is too thick, you have to add more, and that usually harms the flavor. This already looks quite good, just a light thickening, not too thick. And Carmen, film our duck legs again. I think they look quite good. Yes, that's how it will be. After a few minutes, we have turned the soft duck into a crispy duck. Then we will add a little of our plum sauce, the plate as a mirror. Oh, delicious. And on top, a crispy duck leg. Look at that. You can really see how the fat has rendered out. Crispy skin. That's how a duck leg should look. And if you also crave such tender and juicy duck legs, I can only recommend them from Telemita. The link, as always, is below this video. And you simply let these duck legs thaw overnight in the refrigerator and you have the best quality. I really love food that can be prepared in advance. The duck legs, cook in advance on a theoretical day, prepare the sauce at leisure, and when the guests are at the table, I already said 1000 in the oven, red cabbage on the side. We also have a video on how to cook that, a nice dumpling on the side, simple food, and you in the kitchen. Don't stress too much. Now I want to try it myself. Aha. It falls apart. It has become so juicy and so beautifully tender. Absolutely melts in the mouth. A great meal. If you like it, thumbs up. Carmen sends her regards. And I wish you lots of fun in the kitchen. You have to try this. Bye, your Carla.